Why anxiety doesn't go away, even when life is fine. Hello, welcome to the V2V channel. My name is Venerina. Have you ever noticed something strange about anxiety? Sometimes it shows up when nothing is actually wrong. Life could be very stable, there's no immediate crisis, no real danger, and yet your body still feels tense. Your mind keeps scanning for problems, and there's a quiet sense of dread in the background. And it can leave you wondering, why do I feel anxious when everything in my life is actually fine? The answer is surprisingly simple, because anxiety is not always about what's happening in the here and now. In fact, very often, it's about your nervous system and what it learned in the past. In fact, one of the most frustrating things probably about anxiety is that it doesn't always make logical sense. You might look around your life and see that things are relatively stable. You know, you have a good relationship, your work is going well, nothing dramatic is happening, and yet your body still feels like it's waiting for something bad to happen. And that's because anxiety doesn't operate through logic. It operates through the nervous system. And the nervous system doesn't ask, is everything objectively fine? It asks something much simpler, and that is, do I feel safe? Because you see, the nervous system is shaped around your experiences and has its own memory. Every stressful situation you've been through, every period of uncertainty, every moment when you felt overwhelmed, left an imprint, and over time the nervous system began to learn patterns. And if life once felt unpredictable, the nervous system may have learnt to stay in a constant state of alert. If safety was inconsistent, the nervous system may have developed the habit of anticipating danger. So even when life becomes calmer later on, let's say, the nervous system doesn't immediately update that information. It continues to operate according to the old patterns that it's learned. And those patterns can produce anxiety, even when there's actually nothing happening in the present. And the present is probably very safe. Now, many people with anxiety describe a very specific feeling. When things are they say things are going well, for example, but there's a quiet expectation that something's going to go wrong. It's almost like the mind is saying, well, it's too good to be true, this can't last, something bad must be about to happen. Now, this isn't pessimism, it's nervous system conditioning. If your body spent a long time living in stress or uncertainty, it becomes used to operating in survival mode. And when things suddenly become calm, that calm can actually feel very unfamiliar. And the nervous system doesn't trust it yet, so it stays on alert, just in case, because there might be something about to happen. Now, this may sound contradictory, but calm can even feel unsafe, because it can feel uncomfortable for some people. Because when your nervous system is so used to stress, it adapts to that state. So your body becomes familiar with adrenaline, and your mind becomes familiar with scanning for problems. So when the environment suddenly becomes peaceful, the nervous system interprets that calm as uncertain. It doesn't know how long it's going to last. So instead of relaxing into it and enjoying it, it keeps looking for signs of danger. And this is why some people experience anxiety even during moments when life is actually very positive. And it's not because something's wrong, it's just the nervous system hasn't learned how to trust safety yet. I think it's very important to understand something very compassionate about anxiety. And that is, your nervous system is not actually trying to harm you. It's trying to protect you. Its primary job is to predict potential threats before they happen. So we need to see clearly that if our system once learned that danger could appear unexpectedly, it may try to stay one step ahead of it. And it does this by keeping you alert. And that's why you scan, and that's why you prepare. The problem is that when this system becomes overactive, it can keep generating anxiety even when there's no real threat present. The worst thing in all this is that trying to fight anxiety often makes it worse. Because when anxiety appears during calm periods of life, many people try and respond by pushing it away, by thinking, oh, this makes no sense, I shouldn't feel like this, why can't I just relax? But the nervous system doesn't calm down when it's feeling judged or resisted. In fact, resistance can sometimes increase the sense of danger, because the body interprets internal conflict as another signal that something's wrong. So instead of fighting anxiety, a more effective approach is often understanding it. Recognizing that anxiety may simply just be your nervous system operating on old information. But the great thing about this, the flip side of the coin if you like, is that the nervous system can learn, which means it can be taught. So just as once it learned to expect danger, it can also learn to experience safety again. But this learning process takes time. Safety has to be experienced repeatedly, and this can only happen through calm environments, supportive relationships, and regulation practices that help the body settle. When you adopt these measures, then gradually the nervous system begins to update its internal map. It learns that calm moments are not necessarily temporary. It learns that peace does not always mean danger is coming. And so slowly, the background anxiety can begin to soften. So if you've ever wondered why anxiety shows up even when life is actually going well, it doesn't mean you're ungrateful, it doesn't mean you're negative, and it certainly doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. You are by no means broken. It simply means that your nervous system may still be operating from old survival patterns, and with understanding, patience, and the right kind of support, those patterns can change. And your nervous system can learn that safety is real. And when it does, anxiety no longer has to run the background in your life. If you found anything in this information helpful, then I've created an anxiety reset system to help overcome anxiety. The link is in the description, and all that remains is for me to say thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourself.